And we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to the Firehose Project Software Engineering Info Session. I'm Marco. I'm one of the co-founders and one of the co-mentors here at the Firehose Project. And I'm here today to run you through our entire program, help you through the info session, and also answer any type of questions that you have. So before I dive in, tell you why we're doing this, what happens in the intro course, what happens in the full program. I always want to say I answer almost all the questions at the end of the program. So feel free to either use what you see on the side of the YouTube page, go there, add your questions, and I know a few of you already emailed me, which is awesome, so I'm going to go through some of those questions as well. So anytime you have a question, put in there. I get to that at the end. I can't see them right now, actually, while I'll run you through the info session, but I'll get to them at the end. Right. Let's jump in. First of all, why are we doing this, right? Why are we teaching software engineering? Why does it make sense for you to learn web development, software engineering, getting those technical skills? And I think the most important point, there's two real points that I want to throw out here. And the first is like, it's an extremely in-demand field, right? We're thinking like hundreds of thousands of open positions right now, and it's growing. There's going to be more demand than there are people who have these technical skills. So being in that place is something that is really, really not only lucrative, but also a really good position for you, for your career, because you can grow with that growth of the industry. And let's be honest, like software is eating the world, and that's not going to go away in the near future. So being there and being able to build software is going to be a really nice place to be in. But what I think personally is even more important is that this is a field that's really fulfilling, right? You're tasked with challenges and problem solving every single day, and you're building something that helps potentially millions of people like make their lives better, improve themselves, connect. Anything that touches a lot of people is really powerful and fulfilling on a career level, on a personal level, to have that type of impact, to help that many people through technology. So that's kind of like the big picture why we're doing this. Now let's jump in and talk a little bit about our program. So a lot of you who are watching me right now, I know you guys already in the intro course, coding with us, going through our coding challenge as well. The other ones, I quickly want to explain what our intro course is all about, and then we dive into the full program. So the intro course, it's 2 weeks time that you have to go through, build a personal portfolio page, learn HTML and CSS, host it on a server so you have it nice on the internet and can share it with friends and potential employers maybe already if you feel ready. And then we also dive into Ruby, right? What we do in the intro course is like, we teach you, and then we ask you to submit several challenges to us, and we code review that, just like in the real world. Then we give you feedback on how to improve your code, and we give you the thumbs up if your code is good. Once you pass all of those, you officially accepted into our full program, and only then can you start on the full program. And at that point, you can choose a starting date. That could be next week, Monday. Monday is when we start new students, or that could be several weeks in the future. So anything goes, depending on your schedule, what works best for you in terms of starting. Now, once we're in the full program, right, we have kind of like these two paths that come together at the end. And these two paths are like the web application development path, and then there's like the path of algorithms and data structures. And then at the end, these converge together, they merge together to be where you use all the skills together in the Agile team project. So let's first talk about the web application side. What we're doing here is we built several web applications. Each of the applications that we're building gets a bit more complicated, a bit more complex than the previous one, and builds on top of each other, right? These are all projects, real applications that you ship in live and building just like in the real world. So the first one, pretty simple. It's a quote generator. A person can come to the application, type in a quote, we're saving that quote in a database, we're randomly pulling that quote out and showing it on the homepage. Now, we make that mobile friendly, mobile first, so it works on mobile devices, desktops, tablets, all the way around. And then that's pretty much it. We put an about page to it, something pretty simple. You do that in the first 5 days, maybe 3-4 days. That's where most students finish that. And then we move on to the next application. That's a lot more fully featured. That is a Yelp clone. So if I think about Yelp clone, I think the most important feature that we're building there is we integrate with the Google Map API. So this is all about getting pins on maps, right? So a lot of students customize these applications, right? So with anything from, we make ours about pizza places. I like pizza. What can I say? And then we had everything from favorite surf spots, climbing spots, best places to meditate in New York City, best places to relax in Chicago, right? So any type of customization that you want for locating things on maps is what our students have done in those applications, right? So we not only integrate with the Google Map API to get pins on the maps, we also have user comments, so there's interactions on different locations, be it like the pizza place, the rock climbing spot. And then also like star ratings we have automated email notifications that we need to build. For example, if somebody leaves a comment, you as the person who set up that rock climbing spot, a meditation spot in New York City, that person gets then an email. And then we also have a user dashboard to show every user like a bit of statistics, a bit of metrics around that. We also do user authentication, log in, log out, sign up, and all of that in that app. So that's a lot more complex, and it builds on everything you'll learn beforehand. Then we move on to the next step. The next step is a two-sided marketplace. And when I say two-sided marketplace, that means that we have two different types of users on our application. We made it an educational marketplace, so we have instructors on one side and we have students on the other side. The students can come, choose from a variety of courses, and then purchase those courses from the instructors. So that means when I say keyword purchase, that we also need to integrate a payment card processing service into our application. And you can already see how that gets more complicated. What we do is we integrate with the Stripe API, so we can accept credit and debit card payments directly on our platform. What this application also needs to do is like be a lot more complex in the architecture, right? For that application to work, we need to go deep into the database and actually make sure that we know which student purchased which course and how does the money flow over. Do we as a platform owner get a cut? Does the instructor get a cut of the money? How many courses has a student purchased? Which one can a student access completely? Maybe only see the previews, right? And with that, we need to really dive deep into the database and actually make sure our relationships between our database tables work. That's the third app that we're building. The next step, we go into test-driven development. At this point, I usually like to zoom out quickly and explain what testing actually means, right? So as software developers, what we like to do is write software tests, automated software tests that tested out features that we're building, a feature being like a map integration, like we've done before, or user commenting, that actually works. So we don't want to click around manually and see that things are working. We want to have an automated software test do that for us. Test-driven development, which is the industry standard and which you should absolutely know before you go into any professional direct development team and actually work on the job, is you writing the test first before the feature exists, and then the test fails because it's, oh, there's nothing for me to test. And then you build the feature and the test says, oh, now this is working, great. And you kind of put it upside down on its head. So anyway, writing tests is extremely important. We teach you that where we build an entire application with this test-driven development mentality front and center. So we run you through that. Then next up, we go deep dive into JavaScript and we teach you another programming language. Before, everything was Ruby that we had using the Rails framework. Now we're building something from scratch using nothing but JavaScript. And that's really a deep dive to get you really comfortable in your next programming language. In between, we teach you how to actually build several features with JavaScript and how to integrate that in an existing Rails application. This focuses entirely on JavaScript and how to build an application by just using JavaScript. Now that's kind of like the web application track that we're having. Now we also have the algorithms one, right? And then they merge together to the Agile team project. The algorithms is basically, if you're in an intro course, is a continuation of the Ruby coding challenges. So you need to think about that as starting really easy with like just a bunch of arrays and hashes and that stuff. And then it goes all the way to search and sorting algorithms, right? Things that are used to solve complex problems today. Now, the algorithm section is not only there to prepare you for the technical interview process and make sure you have the skills to master that and go over that hurdle. That's also there for you to really, really deep dive into your Ruby coding skills and improve them and get them to the next level. Now, at the very end, like the last 8 weeks of our program, we kind of merge these two paths together and then have you join an Agile team project. So why are we doing an Agile team project, right? So the biggest reason for it is because in the real world, software is built by amazing teams. And we want you to know how it is to work together as a team while still in our program. You need to demonstrate that you're able to do that. There's just no better way than doing that for 8 weeks together with a team and really sink your teeth into that different way of working together as a team, right? So how does that work? The way that works is like we group you together with 3 or 4 other students, you get another mentor, a senior web developer, besides your one-on-one mentor, who will manage the Agile team project the same way they would do as a technical lead at their company, right? The same way they would do it in the real world. That means you have weekly, what we call Agile meetings, where we go through all the features that we need to build. You get them assigned to you and maybe teammates. So you need to pair program, right? You need to work together, and maybe somebody says, okay, you two, Emma and Johnny, you two, you need to figure out the architecture of the database for our web application. Somebody over here you guys need to work on the user authentication system, and you do that next, right, when the architecture is done for the database, right? And so we're working together here, always communicating, always going forward, and we're always reviewing our code, right? So you're done with something, you submit it, the team reviews it, gives you the thumbs up, tells you what to improve, and goes through. And that's exactly the same flow that happens every single day in the real world. So you getting comfortable with that is really, really important, and will really help you to have a competitive edge when it comes to the application process for an actual technical software engineering web developer job. But I'll talk about the whole job and how to strategically position yourself and what we have there to help you guys land the jobs and switch careers in a moment. But Agile team project, really, really crucial. What we're building is a chess game. Now, a lot of people usually tell me, well, come on, Mark, a chess game, that's not that exciting. Well, you gotta look at it from the other side. What is technically really complicated? And if you think about how many rules there are in a chess game, there's a lot, and how to write them as code and then integrate that into a working web application is really complex. In fact, we asked our mentors, right? We have over 100 mentors that are teaching our students on our learning platform, and we're asked, like, what is something that would impress you if somebody had built together as a team if they were applying for your company, right? And when we proposed a chess game, all of our senior developers were like, that is really good, because that shows a lot of algorithms that need to be integrated into web application. It also shows the web application skills, the Rails skills, the Ruby skills. It shows the teamwork and the communication, the whole testing. Said before, automated software testing is your bread and butter as a web developer. So having all these skills baked into one project and showing all of them off and using them all is really valuable for your experience, is really valuable for me, for developers as senior hiring managers, technical hiring managers, hiring those people. That's the skills that you're looking for. Now, that was kind of the entire program, the 21 weeks or the 42 weeks for the moderate pace. That we have, right? Again, it's these two tracks that we're running you through in parallel, which is the web applications and the algorithms, and then we merge them together for the Agile team project for the last few weeks of the program. The last 8 weeks, not few. That's actually a pretty long time of that. Now, let's talk about job placement. Let's talk about job support, right? So one thing we're having is we're actually relaunching that. It's 58 lessons, I think, of a job hunt section that goes in depth of several different things. First thing is, like, obviously technical mock interviews, really important. You can do that with your one-on-one mentor, right? But the other thing that's really important is actually how to position yourself, on resume, on your LinkedIn, on your social channels, and how to brand yourself as a developer. That's a key thing that we teach you how to do. And then it's the whole strategy of, like, where to find jobs, how to look for them, how to apply for them, right? And one of the key things that you take out of the Firehose project, if I could wave my magic wand, I wish that all of our students would be at that point immediately, is showing off how you can work as a team, how you can be a high impact employee from day one. And that is, you've been working on a group, on an Agile team project for 8 weeks already, and you've built something together in the same way as any team out there does, as a group. And so you can show that off really well by using something what's called a pull request. Think of that as an organized bucket of code. So you can take that pull request and send it to a technical hiring manager, and that hiring manager within a minute or two can determine the level of code, your coding ability that you have, right? They can see your code, they can see your tests, how you tested it, they can see your logic, your algorithms that you integrate into application. They also see the communication and feedback that you received, how you reacted to that verbally, and then also what kind of code improvements you made to make your pull request, the organized bucket of code, really good, and then gotten the thumbs up from the team, and then push live up to the server, right? And demonstrating that is, like, what I can see as a hiring manager, again, this is somebody that can put in the seat and has impact from day one and can hit the ground running. And that's where you want to be. So how to do that in more and more detail and in depth, we tell you in our job track hunt. And then we also figure out the strategy, like where to apply, how to network, how to find the jobs that are not really advertised, how to go to events, how to meet developers, all of that, how to actually beef up your design skills so your portfolio looks really good, and how to optimize your GitHub profile and your repositories in your GitHub profile so they look really good and you can actually present them during a job hunt. That's all in our job interview. Job preparation track, and we have that currently available, and it's going live I think in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So everyone who's looking, watching this right now, this will be in time for you to go in. Now let's see. Is there anything else? I want to see if we have some questions, and if you have some, put them now on the YouTube or email me. All you guys should have received an email from me. Happy to answer them. Let's see. Okay, so this is a question I pretty much get all the time. Why are we different, right? There's a lot of other programs out there. So what's the Firehose? How's the Firehose project different? All right, let's go into that. So I think I always tell there's the 3 reasons why we're different. There's many more, but I was trying to like keep it as short as possible. So the first is the depth of the curriculum, right? I see very little programs out there who actually teach algorithms and data structures, and that is key for you to build advanced web applications. And then what I see absolutely nobody out there doing is taking those algorithmic and data structure skills and actually applying it to an 8-week-long project, the Agile team project. I don't see that. And that gives our students a huge competitive advantage. It's not easy doing that. That's why not a lot of program, or no program is really doing that. So that depth of the curriculum, of the algorithms, and actually building a lot of really advanced web applications and that Agile team project, I don't really see anywhere. And if you're looking to land a job, that is what matters so much, that you can prove before you even start on a job that you're a high impact employee and you're able to work on a team. So that depth of the curriculum, algorithms, data structures, Agile team project, and focusing on test-driven development a lot, that's really key, and I don't see that happening in a lot of other programs. Second one is clearly our mentors, right? We have senior web development mentors on our platform teaching our students from places like eBay, PayPal, Product Hunt, Techstars, Y Combinator, companies, Shopify, right? Really well-known companies. They work for the BBC, they work for Comcast, they work for big companies, small companies, and we match you with those mentors based on what your goals are and what you want to get out of the program and what the mentor's strengths are. So our matching of our mentors and the fact that we have all senior web developers and software engineers on our platform is another big thing. I don't see that happening a lot out there too. It's oftentimes people who graduated a few weeks ago trying to be a mentor, and that's just not going to work, and we don't do that here. And the third, and I always mention it last, but maybe I should start mentioning that first, is our community of actual students, right? If I look in our Slack channel, there's always people talking to each other, helping each other out. I see we have several open source projects where students build things together. Our students come together every 6 weeks to run what we call lightning talks. These are developer talks where each student teaches the entire group something new that they learn, be it a tool, a technical tool like CodeShip for continuous integration, or Pry for debugging, or AWS, Amazon Web Server architecture, or be it like design for developers, or here's how you actually fill your sales pipeline for freelance projects. These are the type of talks that our students are giving and teaching each other. And I, for one, learn something new every single time when I come to them. And that's what they're doing as well. And then the constant talk, helping each other out, being ambassadors to each other, helping people who just started out. That's something that I think makes our community really powerful and really strong. And you actually get to work together with them on a lot of projects as well, be it the talks or be it the open source projects. That hopefully it was a good answer for that. Again, depth of the curriculum, our world-class mentors, and then the community. Let's see, how long have you been doing this? Why do we get the same questions today? And yes, we have taught at Harvard before. So when we started out, like close to 3 years ago, right? We taught a lot in-person classes, right? I was in the classroom, my co-founder was at the classroom, some of our mentors were in the classroom, and that was how we started out. So we taught at Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, Babson, Brown University, Rhode Island School of Design, University of Hawaii, Hawaii Pacific University. We taught some high schools. We took all that knowledge from like Harvard and Carnegie Mellon, right? All that knowledge that we gathered in the classroom, and we packed it into our online platform. And that's when I say that we engineered our online learning platform to make things click for you. That's really where this is coming from, because we learned while teaching hundreds and hundreds of students in the classroom how people understand advanced and complex technical concepts, and that's what you're getting. So when you go through that intro course and thinking like, oh wow, for the first time, this makes sense that I know how this works. This is because our entire platform is engineered around making things click for you, and then also giving you the right content at the right time. Like when you just think, oh, I wonder how these two pieces of web application fit together, we usually ping you quickly and be like, here's something I want you to read right now. Here's something I want you to watch right now. And you notice that through our entire program, how we have everything set up around engineering to make things click for you. And yeah, are we teaching algorithms as well? Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that before, right? That's one of our strengths where we go into data structures and algorithms. Now, I quickly want to see if I have any other questions. Let me see here. What else I got? It always takes a moment to load. Okay, John asked me a question. Does the course prepare me at all for more data science jobs? So that's a really good question, and I'm happy to dive into that. So John, we're going to have, we'll teach you the fundamentals, right? You know how to pull data out of the database easy and manipulate that when you know our program. We're not teaching you statistics, right? My background is in statistics and data science as well. So we're not teaching you how regression analysis works. We're not teaching you how multi-level factor analysis works, right? We can't do that on top of teaching you how to build algorithms, sorting algorithms, and go through that, right? But what we can give you is a really solid foundation as a software engineer. And then if you want to go and specialize further into data science, you can do so. And I'm guaranteed this will be a lot easier once you actually know how to build things. But this is, of course, not so much about analyzing data, but about building and creating and building products and building features and making existing products better to be on a software engineering team. Have you had anyone who went into quant trading? So quantitative trading, right? We're talking about stock and trading and like, I want to say Wall Street, right? But the stock market. I don't think so, because that requires, we have people who had advanced math degrees go through our program before and were that, but this is like a really specific career choice to go there, and you need to have like an economics background, something like that. And again, we're trying to help you build. We have people build applications or work in places where they actually deal with stocks and they do financial trading, but they build the tools for that, rather than being in and running analysis and being like, okay, here's the stock that we should buy under these circumstances, and here's my predictive model that models out the stock market fluctuations for the next 3 months, 6 months, as far as you can do. So that goes more maybe into data science jobs. Yeah, so Christine asked a question. Let me read this. On a team, will we be grouped with people on a similar schedule? Like the same time zone? Yep. Christian, definitely. We're going to actually send out a, before we group anyone in an Agile team project, we always make sure that the times for the meetings work, right? So we send out, ask everyone on the team is like, what's a good time for you? You have all these choices of hours throughout the week, even the weekend, and we then basically make the meeting for the Agile group project on the slot that works for everyone. And we usually have people in the same time zones, or maybe 1 hour over, but it's not going to be that you're going to have students that are like, you know, you live in California and you have students that are like, say, in China based, or in Japan. It's a huge time difference. We're not going to do that. So we have students all over the world. We also have mentors all over the world. So time zones really don't matter that much, because we try to match you with the students in the right time zone. And then the office hours, right? So we have weekly office hours. Let me zoom out. This is a really good question, Christine. Let me zoom out and talk about the whole support system that we're having, right? So at the core, we have our Q&A forum. If you're in the intro session, you notice that already. If you have an error message, if you get stuck, You take a screenshot of your error message, post it in our forum, they're below each lesson, and then we can we get back to you, answer, make sure you don't spin your wheels anymore. Then what that enables us is we help you with all your error messages. So when you come to your one-on-one mentorship sessions, which you have once a week, and usually run for an hour, a bit over, there we can really focus on pair programming, deep diving, getting your coding skills to the next level. Now, we don't have to spend time on troubleshooting, on being like, hey, the missing comma on line 37. Oh, this variable needs to be declared a little bit different. You need an @ sign in front of it. We don't need to spend any time on that. We can actually deep dive into it. May it be an algorithm, how to optimize that. Maybe it be some tests that don't pass into test-driven development. We can really use this mentorship sessions to level up and make it to the next level of your coding skills ability, right? And then we also have the office hours, and that's where I'm answering your question right now, that we have weekly, and that's where all of our students come together, and we answer questions. I'm usually there, another mentor is there, and anything goes there, any type of question we answer. We always record these office hours, and then we annotate them, and we upload them directly to your Firehose project account, so you can watch them afterwards. And right now, if I'm thinking about, we have about 20 to 25% of our students coming live to those, not because they can't make the time, but because they prefer to watch the recordings afterwards, and then they basically see all the questions and what they're interested in, they click on, and they get beamed right to the perfect moment in the video and to watch the answer. Right now, the office hours happen at 6 p.m. Every Wednesday Eastern time. So depending on where you are, this might be a bit early, might be a bit later, but again, you're not going to miss anything if you can't make it to those. You can always watch the recording afterwards and submit your questions ahead of time. So I hope that answered your question. It was a bit longer than I wanted, but I want to make sure we have the full breadth here. What is a reasonable, okay, John, another good question. What is a reasonable daily schedule for doing the course with someone who works 9 to 5? So it's two different options that you have, right? So the first one is you can do the accelerator pace. That's about 25 hours a week that you can put in. Then the program will take about 22 weeks for you to complete. And then we also have the moderate pace, which is more like 12, 15 hours a week that you put in. So the first question you need to ask yourself, how much could you actually dedicate each week into coding, right? If you only have 12 to 15 hours per week, we have the option for the 42-week program, so you can space it out a little bit more and you have a little bit more breathing room. It's not as accelerated as the 22-week program. Now, if you work 9 to 5, we have a lot of students on the 22-week program and on the 42-week program who work full-time, right? So you need to choose that, how many hours you have, and then get to the 25 hours, right? So if you work 9 to 5, code a little bit in the morning before your job, code a little bit in the evening, and then use the weekends as well to pack in the hours there. That's usually what I suggest, but it's totally up to you. So I hope that answered your question there as well. Now I want to see if I have some more questions. Over here, I think we're all good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I went through 6 or 7 questions. If there's a few more, or you think of something later down the line, just send me an email, let me know, and I'm happy to answer them. In the meantime, I'd say happy coding. If you're not on the intro course yet, sign up for our intro course, use those 2 weeks. If you need an extension, no problem. You can simply find that in your dashboard, click on that, get another 2 weeks free on top of the initial 2 weeks, and code that, submit your code so we can review it, we can give you feedback, we can help you out, use the forum, and let us help you if you get stuck so you don't waste time spinning your wheels. And then hopefully we can give you the thumbs up on all the coding challenges and then accept you into the full program, and so you can choose a starting date and code with us. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for coming, everyone. Awesome info session. Thumbs up to you. Happy coding, and let me know if anything else comes up. Take care. Bye.